Welcome to the AI Arena.
You know, in the wild world of MMA, the biggest fight isn't always in the octagon. Sometimes it's between lines of code. We're about to break down an absolutely insane night of AI predictions. The event? UFC 319. And let me tell you, it was a total roller coaster.
All right, so welcome to the AI Arena. We've got our 4 contenders, Dogbot95, Jim MA, Grok-z Delta, and TapGPT. They all crunched the numbers for UFC 319. They all made their picks. But now we get to see whose logic actually paid off and, whose circuits kind of shorted out. Let's dive in and see how this one single night completely shook up the entire season.
Okay, so before we even get to the fights, you gotta understand the stakes. Coming into UFC 319, this whole AI race was just ridiculously tight. I mean, every single point mattered.
So check out this leaderboard. This is what things looked like right before the event. You've got Dogbot95 at the top with 43 points, but look how close it is. That is not a comfortable lead. Jam MMA is breathing down its neck just 4 points back. And then you have Grok-z and TapGPT tied up right behind them. Seriously, one good night for one bot or one bad night for another could flip this whole thing on its head.
So naturally, all eyes were on Dogbot95. Yeah, it had the lead, but with the pack nipping at its heels like that, UFC 319 was a huge test. Was it going to defend its top spot, or were we about to see a new king of the hill? All right, and that's the setup. Let's get to the fights. Because this night wasn't about who could pick the obvious winners. No, this was all about who could navigate the chaos. It was won and lost in the upsets. And really, the whole story of this event boils down to one simple question. Who had the guts to bet on an underdog? Because as you're about to see, taking that risk, well, that was everything. Okay, first up, a major upset. We're talking Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Elliott was a pretty big underdog, right? Odds of 3.35. So what happened? 3 of our bots did the logical thing. They played it safe and picked the favorite, Asakura. But Dogbot95, it went the other way. It was the only one to pick Tim Elliott. And guess what? Elliott gets the win, and just like that, Dogbot95 is the only bot to score on that fight. Boom. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just a lucky guess. This was a huge, gutsy call that went against the grain. It immediately put Dogbot95 in a class of its own for the night. That one pick really set the stage for everything that was to come. And this just shows you the strategy, right? While everyone else is playing the odds, just looking for the most likely winner, Dogbot95's code is out there hunting for value. It's looking for those long shots, those high-risk, high-reward plays. And oh, it was far from done. You know what they say, right? Fortune favors the bold. Well, if you thought that last pick was bold, just wait. Dogbot95 was about to make a call that was even crazier, a call that would absolutely define its night. Okay, now look at this. Just look at this. Joseph Morales. We're talking the biggest underdog of the entire night. The odds were insane, almost 5-1. Everyone thought his opponent was a sure thing. And yeah, 3 of our bots went with the favorite, but Dogbot95, once again, it was the lone wolf. It called the massive upset, and it was right. I mean, that is just an unbelievable prediction. But hey, don't go thinking this was some easy night to predict, because it wasn't. The thing about MMA is it's unpredictable. That's why we love it. And there was one fight that served up a huge slice of humble pie, a reminder that sometimes everybody gets it wrong. Yeah, I'm talking about the Alexander Hernandez versus Chase Hooper fight. This was a classic. All 4 bots, a perfect consensus. They all picked the favorite, Chase Hooper. And what happened? Hernandez, the underdog, pulls off a stunning win. It just goes to show you how tough this sport is. Not one of them saw that coming. A complete wipeout for the AI. So, okay, the dust settles, the favorites have fallen, the underdogs have had their day. So, who won? Who actually came out on top for UFC 319? And it wasn't even close. Dogbot95 absolutely crushed it, walking away as the clear champion of the night with 11 points. That whole underdog strategy, man, did it pay off.
Gem MMA had a respectable night, pulling in 9 points, and TapGPT got 8, but it was a rough one for Grok-z, which only managed to grab 5 points.
And with a performance like that, of course, DogBot95 gets our Dog of the Week award. This is for the bot that makes that one incredible underdog call, and picking Joseph Morales when literally no one else did, yeah, that more than qualifies. It was the pick of the night, hands down, and it's what sealed the deal.
Now, a night like that doesn't just end when the fights are over. No, a performance that dominant sends shockwaves through the entire season. Let's take a look at the aftermath.
So, at first glance, the rankings look the same, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But the real story is in the points. DogBot95 jumps up to 54, putting some distance between it and Gemma at 48. And check out the battle for third. TapGPT now has a bit of a lead over Grok-z. Those gaps between the bots are getting bigger.
And this right here tells the whole story. Before this event, the difference between first place and last place was only 8 points. It was anybody's race. But after UFC 319, that gap has almost doubled to 14 points. DogBot95 just built itself a serious cushion.
So what does this mean for the competition? Well, Gemma is still that steady, consistent challenger. It's not making those flashy underdog picks like DogBot95, but its strategy of picking favorites keeps it right there in second place, just waiting for the leader to slip up.
And all of this leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? DogBot95 just proved that taking huge risks can lead to huge rewards. So what are the other bots going to do? Are they going to change up their strategy and start hunting for their own underdogs to try and close that 14-point gap? Or are they going to play it safe and stick with what they know? I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens at the next AI Fight Night.